Hey guys, Matt here. Today we are looking at a knife that I have wanted to get my hands on for years and years, and I finally picked one up. If you are familiar with folding knives with EDC and you know the Benchmade brand, then you know the Benchmade 940. Today we're going to do a real quick look at it. We're going to go into some of the specs, but we're more going to talk about what I really like, some things I don't like, and then something unique about the knife. So the Benchmade 940, if you know knives, you're familiar with this knife. As some people have said, it doesn't get more Benchmade than a Benchmade 940. This particular model is an S30V. It has about a 3.5 inch blade. It has a reverse tanto. The handle is made of aluminum. And then there is a purple backspacer. I believe that backspacer is aluminum as well, and I have put one of their deep carry clips on it. This is a super light knife. It weighs just under 3 ounces. It is slim, it's smooth, and I really like it. I know I'm kind of giving it away. So let's go into what I like about it. First of all, I touched on it just a second ago. This thing is crazy smooth. I mean, I've owned a couple Axis locks. You guys know I love the Benchmade Crooked River, and that thing is not nearly as smooth as this. I mean, it just comes out super fast, almost like an assisted opening, and then it just closes on up really smoothly as well. So this particular Axis lock, it seems like because this is, you know, a little bit one of their higher end models, that they've put a little bit more effort into polishing those engagements and into the design of this knife. So I really like the smoothness of this Axis lock. Second, I love a reverse tanto. In my opinion, a reverse tanto kind of has a lot of the benefits that like a clip point blade might have. It has that belly, it has that single edge, so you're not worrying about sharpening those two edges that a tanto has, but it also has the benefit of that added tip strength. You can see that tip is quite stout, but it's not so stout that you couldn't do precise work with it. You guys know I don't like super precise tips. I want something to have a good balance, and this has a really good balance. So I really like that reverse tanto design. Another thing I really like about this knife is the handle. This aluminum handle, it feels nice, it feels elegant, it feels like a gentleman's knife, but with this Axis lock, you know it can handle some tough stuff. So I like this handle design. You know, it is smaller, but again, this is more of a lighter weight knife. You know, it's not going to be a super heavy duty like the Cold Steel 4 Max. It's going to be able to handle some tough tasks, but it's not going to be crazy heavy duty. So I don't need, you know, the bulkiness that other knives have. And I like this handle. It fits just comfortably enough in my extra large size hands. So last thing I want to talk about that I really like about this knife is, guys, you know, this back spacer, some people might not love it, but I think that's really cool. I love that purple touch, that extra pop of color I think is super cool and super enjoyable. And I think that, you know, just adding that little touch of color sets this knife apart from just having a simple, you know, green handle. So I really like that. I know I said last thing for the last thing I said, but I also really like the Axis lock. You guys know, so I won't touch on that too much, but the Axis lock, if you're not super familiar with different kinds of locks, this is an Axis lock, and there is a bar in between here in the blade, and when you pull that forward, it releases and you can close it, and then when you open it up, you know, it re-engages. It's a very strong lock, and Benchmade will service that lock. They'll service your knife if you send it in. They'll even replace blades if you pay them. I think it's like $25-30 depending on the knife. But so along with buying a Benchmade, I know there's some controversial stuff that they've done, but you know that you're buying a knife that can be serviced and probably will last you for your entire life and could be handed down to your children or anything like that. So those are all the things I love about this knife, and they are some really positive things. So I forgot to mention that this one is an S30V. Maybe I did mention that. Anyway, great steel. If you know steels, you know S30V. It's a great steel. So let's get into what I don't love. Okay, I know I said I loved the handle, and I know I said there was enough real estate for me. That being said, when you have extra large hands, there's a difference in having enough real estate and enough material to grasp on, and having it being very comfortable in your hand. This has a just long enough handle for me to hold on to, but it doesn't quite feel as comfortable as I'd like it to. Now, it is kind of a slimmer, more sleek, more gentleman style folder, so I get it. They're not going to have as much material. They're not going to have, it's not going to be super bulky for, you to have those finger grooves to grasp onto. But at the same time, a tiny bit more in length. I mean, even just 1/4 of an inch on the handle, maybe something that flared out would help. I do like how slim it is, but I also wish there was a little bit more to grasp onto on this knife. I don't love that, but it's not the end of the world. And guys, that's it. That's where the things I don't like about the 940 stopped. I like everything else about this knife. We'll talk in a minute about the price. I go back and forth on that, but I think that the design of this knife, this is a Warren Osborne design. I believe he passed away a couple years ago, so rest in peace to Mr. Osborne. But everything else on this knife, there is a reason it is a staple of the Benchmade lineup. There is a reason that when someone says Benchmade, they either think of, like this or the Griptilian. In my opinion, it should be this, because this is a far, far superior knife, even if it is a bit more expensive. So the only thing I don't love is I think the handle could be just a tiny bit longer to, work with a little bit larger hands. All right, let's get into something unique. Guys, the unique thing about this knife is when you purchase this knife, you are purchasing something that is a staple of the folding knife world. People who know folding knives, people who know EDC and just pocket knives in general, when you pull out a Benchmade 940, they take you seriously. And we shouldn't all worry about too much about what other people think, but there is something cool knowing that when you pull out this knife, someone goes, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's carrying. He's carrying a quality knife. And I think that's something that's pretty cool. When you pull out a knife that people kind of have respect, because they respect that you have put a lot of thought into your purchase and they recognize the Benchmade 940. So it's kind of a little bit of a status symbol. Like I mentioned earlier, you're paying a decent amount for this knife. This is a small knife. The blade is a full-size blade at about 3.5 inches, but you're paying just around $200. You can find them. I've seen them on Amazon, some with the coated blades, some without, for $170, which is, a little bit less than what, they've been going for. I got this one on a knife trading site. I got this one for $140, and you can see it's in pretty dang good condition. So, if you can find one used, especially, I think they're definitely worth it. Even at $170, even at the $200 price range, if that's what you paid for it, I think that it is worth it, because you are getting a staple of the higher end folding knife range. And it's a pretty knife, it's an elegant knife, but this is also a tough knife. You can do just about any utilitarian task you want to with this knife. That strong tip, that strong axis lock, this aluminum handle is going to have plenty of torsional rigidity with partial stainless liners, but it also being super lightweight. Guys, I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally be an owner of a Benchmade 940, and I cannot recommend one enough. If you're wanting to spend the money, if you're wanting to spend the investment, and save up for, an elegant, nice knife that you can bring to church, that you can bring to the grocery store, that you can put in your gym shorts without weighing it down, and also not worry about it busting because of Benchmade's great warranty, the Benchmade 940 is a great option. I absolutely recommend it. So pick one up. Guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Make sure and like and subscribe. I really appreciate everyone watching. We're almost at 50 subscribers. I'd love to keep climbing and keep going. I'm wanting to do more reviews, more adventure stuff, maybe do some camping stuff with you guys. But thank you so much for watching. I love making videos for you guys. I hope you guys have a great day and take care.